So next up, we have AF. I'm going to really make a mess of pronouncing your name, so I'm really sorry, but I'm going to try my best. And
Don't do that. You know what you do? No. You tell him to pronounce his name so you won't pronounce his name wrong.
May you please pronounce your name for me so I can absolutely nail it first time round?
Yeah, my name is Af Panjalizade. You got
Panjalizade.
Alexandre.
That is a phenomenal name, and please go ahead.
We'll say unique. It's a very unique name.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah, so thanks, Floyd. Nice to meet you. I am lucky enough to work in boxing, actually. I do like event management. I've been at the last 3 Olympic Games, and I was started, volunteering in London 2012. I was at Rio 2016. I actually met you and your team each day at the boxing event. We were having problems with the security every day getting you guys in.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yes.
Yeah. It was really embarrassing because I couldn't speak Portuguese and I was trying to get your team in, but all good. We got you there in the end. But also I worked in Tokyo as well last summer. So one thing I'm always trying to do is watch the Cubans, because like the Cubans are unreal, right? They're different breed, but
I love the Cuban fighters. But who was the first American to beat the Cuban in the Olympics in 20 years?
Was it TBE?
There you
go. But I'm always like hanging out in the warm-up areas, training venues when they're training, and just trying to figure out what it is that makes them so good. I don't know if it's just they do the basics really well or anything, but what like 3 maybe skills or attributes would you say to the kids in the gym to really focus on? And also, did you get to watch any of Tokyo last summer? Because I know obviously you came to Rio and kept an eye on Shakur Stevenson. Was there any people from Tokyo that impressed you that you know you might think that are on the way to superstardom or the next Floyd or anything?
I think in the sport of boxing, everything is just so open right now. You know, there's so many great fighters out there. I don't want to say great because great is there's a lot of good fighters out there on the verge of becoming great. So many good fighters. And I'm so proud of all these young fighters. And it's the list, it's a lot of them now. But we talked about, you also asked me a question about 3 things. I think fighters need to focus on being on their pivot for their movement. That plays a major role in the sport of boxing. Fighters are not taught right as far as being on their back pivot. Fighters don't really use jabs anymore, and fighters don't really focus on defense. So those 3 things can make you or break you.
Yeah, definitely agree. I guess that's thinking currently.
And if you look at the Cubans, if I'm not mistaken, the Cubans, even like with their movement, I don't know if they use a pivot, but they got good movement. And if the Cubans fought off a pivot, they'd be a lot better. But I believe they do. A lot of them do use their pivot. Of course, you're going to come down a lot, but still, that being on your back pivot and using the jab to set everything up, those are some of the major things, and that's what the Cubans do. The Cubans, they use the jab to set everything up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably Lomachenko and Andy Cruz, the Cuban, they've probably got the best, pivot footwork out there. So yeah, definitely agree.
Well, I mean, Lomachenko is a hell of a fighter, and you talked about another fighter. If I'm not mistaken, probably was a Cuban fighter.
Yeah, Andy Cruz. He just won the Worlds last year, and he won gold in Tokyo. He's pretty good.
Yes. Actually, I think he fought that American.
Yeah, Keyshawn Davis in the final.
That fight when they fight kind of be very, very close. So I can't take nothing away from Keyshawn Davis. I'm proud of him. he's going to make some noise in the professional ranks. I had a chance to see him box at my boxing gym. Hell of a fighter.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Shakur Stevenson, hell of a fighters. Like I said before, they got so many fighters out there now. You know, they breeding fighters. Cuba breed fighters from the beginning. If America did the same thing, you know, they get some of the same results.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see the US team getting some medals again, because they seem to have sorted out their US program, which is really exciting for Paris. Yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot for your time, and I'll let
Thank
other people.
I'm proud of you. You keep up the great work. Continue to keep working in boxing. We got to keep the sport alive.
Yeah, definitely.